All right, real quick video here for the Hawaii homies and everyone else watching. I wanted to talk about these brake cable ferrules here and some types of cable and these brake pads and an extra little tip here about tri-flow. So first, these ferrules here, they come in different sizes. They're pretty standard, but they do vary a little bit. And I just pulled out this brake cable here, this clipping. I have a bunch of just random clips here from bikes I've taken off. And I noticed this one, this ferrule here, I think this is from Odyssey, and their cables are pretty thin. I know you probably can't really tell on the video, but they're just a tiny bit thinner than some other cables. And I have, this is a box cable, this is a Rant BMX cable. So I have lots of different cables, and I've come across this issue where these ferrules don't always slide right on. And this is an example I found here. This one doesn't really want to go on there. I could maybe force it, but I found this one here and it slides right on. Watch. See? So these do vary in size just tiny bit. This over here is an assorted pack from Amazon, and you'll see they have even more sizes. They have these long ones, and it fits on there. It's kind of like an extender or something. Then they have these weird little ones with, I don't know, for different types of bikes to sit. Probably seats it in there so it's real stable. I don't know, but this one's too big. So these do come in different sizes, and they have different purposes sometimes, but long story short is, if you can't get one of these on there, I would buy like an assorted pack from your local bike shop or Amazon or wherever you can find it. Another tip I was going to say is putting tri-flow in your brake cable. So tri-flow always comes with this little tube here, and it fits perfectly inside the cable. And I would do this outside, because if you put enough lube in there, it'll run out and it'll drip. So if you're in your garage or in your house, you want to make sure you don't get it everywhere. So there's different qualities of brake cables. There's like a really low end brake cable that has no coating on the inside. And then there's a medium level, like this one. This cable has coating. Sorry, the cable housing has a coating on the inside, but the actual cable doesn't. And then there's this high-end cable here. This is the Odyssey Race, and this is also their SLS cable. And you probably can't tell in the video, but this actual cable has a coating on it. So this type of a cable doesn't need any tri-flow. But if you have a lower grade cable, or I would say even a medium grade cable, like this one here, this is a cheap cable. I can't pull it out to show you without taking it all apart, but when you take the cable out of the housing, run some tri-flow in there, and it'll help the cable move inside the housing a lot easier. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about was these V-brake or these cantilever brake pads. In the order of these washers. So I set two of these up two different ways. So this gap right here, I need something to point with. This gap right here represents the brake arm and how it goes on the brake arm. This one here is how they come stock in the package. And I've got a bunch over here. You see, when they come stock in the package, the big one is always on the inside. See that? The big one's always on the inside. But a lot of people switch these around to where the small one is on the inside like this. And what that does is it makes your brake arms stick out like this just a little bit. It makes them, you can tow them in just a little bit further so that they're more straight and they have a cleaner look. It's very minimal, as you can see. The measurement between this and this right here is very minimal, but it does help a little bit when you account for both sides. And this is not something you need to do. This is something, if you put them on like this and the brake arms are straight and they look good, great, just leave them. But if they're bowed out a little bit, switch them around and they'll just look a little bit cleaner. So the order of these, so these conical washers right here, the flat part of them always go on the brake arm. And the reason the curved part goes outward is because when these are on the brake arm, it allows, when you're towing your brake pads, you want the front of the bike is this way, you want this side touching first. So when you're towing the brake pads, these curved conical washers allow the pads to move slightly in a non-linear direction. You see how they're moving around like that? That's a good thing. So this is how they should go. You have the inside part and then the conical part going, you know, it fits in there. The flat parts on both sides, the brake arm is going to be right in there. So the flat parts are up against it. And then you have the other conical one facing outward. And then you have that little washer on the very end. That's it for today.